All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to this video that I call the Magic Formula. So I'm your good friend, Eric Thompson, and I so appreciate you engaging with this quick little lesson for all my real estate professional friends. I'm making this just for you to help you out. So check it out. This is a live video. Sometimes I put a lot into promoting an upcoming live video and we get really awesome attendance. And you know what? Sometimes I just go for it. So this is one of those times where I'm just going for it. I know a lot of you will be checking out the recording. In any case, I'm just so happy that you're here. Thank you so much for checking this out. I think this here image that you're seeing on the screen is going to help you out. I call it the Magic Formula. The reason why I'm making this is because I read an article recently, I'm guessing that you also saw the article, that said there are now more realtors in the country, in the United States, than there are listings. All right, so there are now approaching 1.5 million realtors nationwide. I remember not too long ago, it was like around 1 million, then it was like around 1.1, not that long ago. Now we're at 1.5 million. We are adding new people to this industry by the droves, and I am excited about that. I'm a proud realtor. That's fantastic. I celebrate everyone who's in this business. And also what it means is those of you who are all in, who are committed, who are the real estate pros, you want to know how to stand out. All right. So this little formula is going to show you how to stand out from the competition. One thing I'm hearing about is realtors missing out on listings, right? They're competing and they miss out on a listing. That is a bummer, especially in this low inventory environment that we have right now. Like every listing is so precious. So you want to win all the listings that you can. You want to take advantage of all the opportunities that you can. That's why this formula is going to work. All right. So thanks anyone who's joining live. And also thank you again for checking out the recording. Let us dive in to this here little formula. So you can see there on the screen, there are two parts to the Magic Formula. There are two parts to it, which makes this very simple to remember, also makes it simple to present, right? So it's easy on me and also easy on you. So there are two parts to it. There is relationship plus credibility. Those are the two parts that lead to your helping. All right, you're helping with transactions. It leads to your achievement of your goal. All right, it leads to more closings, more income, more goodwill, right? Like all those things are a result of the two things first, the two things that you need. You need relationship plus credibility. Here's what I mean. Of course, we know about the first part, right? We know that this is a relationship business. We know that people like to work with people who they know, like, and trust. We know that the reason why relationship is such a big deal is because there is so much emotion that's a part of the transaction, right? So if we were to think about the things that might be more emotional than purchasing a home or selling a home, there aren't that many things, right? Like it's way up high on the list, and people know that, right? They know that they are about to embark on a really emotional process. And so what that means is they need someone who they can really trust, who they really like, who really gets them. Like, we get it. We understand that. We understand the relationship part. The second part is credibility. And guys, this is the part that is not emphasized enough. This is the part that is even sometimes overlooked. There must also be credibility. What I mean by that is there is a strong belief in the client's mind that you really know what you're doing. You really know your processes. You really know the market. You really know the contract. You really know your stuff. So check it out. If you can go inside the mind of a client, like imagine a client who sees you as someone who they really like, who they believe that you really get them, like you're a really good listener, you're great at communication, your relationship skills are world class, right? You for sure have their best interest in mind, and they see you as someone who has high credibility, someone who really knows their stuff. When you combine those two things, you are unstoppable, all right? You are totally unstoppable. There is nothing in your way when the client really likes you, they totally trust you, and they believe without a doubt that you really know your stuff. The thing is, the relationship part is really easy for us. That comes naturally. For most of you, that's why you got into this business in the first place, right? I hear all the time, you know, why'd you get into real estate? Well, I got into real estate because I really love people. And that's fantastic. I celebrate that. I honor that. That is perfect, right? You love people. You love helping people. You love being with people through this really important time of their life, through this time of their life that's really emotional, and it's also really complex. And there's some risk involved, and also they don't do it very often. So they really need someone like you. You so enjoy helping people out. But we cannot rely on relationship alone. All right. So relationship alone, it isn't going to get the job done. And that's such a bummer, because what we want is to just totally rely on our relationship skills because we're so good at it. And that's a wonderful thing. Like it's this amazing natural gift, and also developed gift that all of you have. You're incredible at building relationships. So what happens is, because we're so good at that, we try to rely on that alone, and we miss out on the chance to build even higher credibility. We overlook the fact that we also really have to demonstrate that we know our stuff. So we have to bring our already established amazing relationship skills to the game, along with building up the belief that the client really, really sees that we know what we're doing. All right, so we must also build credibility. So we get the relationship part, we got to build the credibility part. So that obviously begs the question, right? So now it begs the question, all right, Eric, so how do I do that? All right, so there you are, someone who's really good at building relationships. It comes naturally to you. It's why you're in this business in the first place. You have all kinds of people in your sphere, in your world, in your environment that really like you, right? They really see you as a great person, very likable, you're trustworthy, all those things for sure. You're saying to yourself, okay, so how do I build my credibility? I'm going to give you a few ideas, right? So a few strategies, a few things to get implemented so that you can build up even higher credibility in the mind of your client, all right? So number one, the first thing for you to be mindful of to build that second piece of credibility is to be amazing, to be world-class at answering the question, how's the market? One of the beauties of real estate is that people will ask you about real estate naturally. So when you start chatting with people, someone you know or someone you're meeting for the first time, when they find out what you do, they're naturally going to ask you about the market, because real estate is so fun to talk about. Your friends, your current relationships, your family, you know what they love to talk to you about? The market, right? That people love to talk about real estate. That's such a amazing, natural, embedded gift that we have in this business, is that our clients, our friends, our family, they're the ones that are going to bring it up. We don't have to bring it up. They're going to ask you how the market is. So you're going to be world-class at answering the question, how's the market, so that you can build up your credibility. You want the other person saying, wow, they really know their stuff. They really, really know the market. Check them out. They have been doing their homework. Look at them go. And the way to do that, all you got to do, it's so easy. You just have to have 3 stats in your mind at all times, ready to share. And put them, as I coach people, put them in your metaphorical pocket. I know people who take a piece of paper every morning and write down 3 quick stats or facts or trends that they know about the market, and they literally put them in their pocket. It helps them to remember those 3 quick stats. And so when people ask them about the market, boom, there they go. They can rattle off those stats. So if someone says to me, yeah, Eric, tell me what's going on in the market, what I would say is, well, it's really interesting. Inventory right now, it's down 67% year over year in my local market. So we're down way over 50% compared to last year. Last year, inventory was low anyway. So what that means is prices are going up by double digits. We see average prices up about 15% year over year. And even in the environment of low inventory, transactions are still up, not up a lot, but up slightly, even though inventory is so low. So transactions are up like 3%. So those are 3 stats that I memorized, and that makes the person say, dang, he knows the stuff. He knows the market. I wonder what else he knows. And then away you go with the conversation, right? So that's strategy number 1 on how to build credibility. Be really, really good at answering the question, how's the market? Okay, again, we're talking about this magic formula right here. We're talking about how to build up credibility. The strategy number 2 is to use your marketing to build your credibility. And you're thinking, well, yeah, duh. But specifically what I mean is use your printed marketing, your email marketing, and your social media marketing to build your credibility, all right? So often what we can do when we're live with the client, when we're face-to-face on the phone, by Zoom, whatever, we can be really good at building a relationship. Well, we have to back that up with building credibility, and the way we do that is with the other pieces of our marketing. So if you're sending out a printed newsletter that shows market trends and stats and interesting stories about what's happening in the market, if you're sending out a postcard that shows in their neighborhood recent sales and activity and trends and the data for their neighborhood, that's a way to build credibility. If you're sending out an email newsletter that shows in a snapshot what's happening in their neighborhood every single month, you're building credibility. When you're using your social media to talk about recent transactions you've had, show current listings, talk about market trends, show images of market stats and facts and graphs that are all so easy to pull and aggregate, right, and share. When you can do an education series, even kind of like this one, that is a way to build up your credibility using your social media, right? So think of those platforms, your print media, your electronic email media, your social media. Think of those platforms as your platform to build up your credibility. So you say, all right, the way that I'm going to build my relationship and build up my connection even more with my clients is to be live with them. If I can get them on the phone, if I can get them face to face, if I can get them on Zoom, even texting, even sending handwritten notes, those are some really cool ways to build up your personal relationship. And then you say, okay, I'm going to build my credibility because I know I got to build that too. I'm going to do that with my other components of my marketing. So I get asked a lot, what should I do for marketing? The answer is all the above, right? You should do all the above because we got to be building both of these things right here. If I can get my finger to point right there, just like that, right? So we got to build up both relationship and credibility. You have to use all the components of your marketing, of your client interaction to build those things up. All right, so that was strategy number 2. Strategy number 3, in order to build credibility, and this is now assuming you have the opportunity to work with a client, right? They're ready, they're like clearly ready to either list their home or start looking for a home. What you want to do, you want to pre-frame the conversation, all right? You want to pre-frame the conversation that you're about to have with them. You want to pre-frame the meeting that you're about to have with them, pre-frame it in a way where they show up to that meeting already convinced that you really know your stuff, all right? So that you don't have to work to convince them of that during the meeting. Let a process, let a packet of information do that work for you. I'm a big believer in letting the process do the work. Let a packet of information do the work. So if before that meeting, so before you meet with a potential seller, before you meet with a potential buyer, you want to get them a packet of information ahead of time with everything they would want to know, all the great things about you, not in a bragging way, but in a very informative, value-add way, like all your testimonials, mapping out your processes, showing marketing examples. If you get them that packet ahead of time, and I do mean a printed packet, and yes, this is the classic seller packet, buyer packet, you get them, get that in their hands ahead of time, then they show up to that meeting thinking, wow, this guy knows his stuff. I got that packet that was so helpful, that was so informative. Clearly, he knows what he's doing. And even if they don't read every single page, you've just demonstrated to them that you know your stuff because you had that packet of information in the first place. What you demonstrate is you're not winging it, all right? You don't ever want to come across as someone who just wings it. You're going to demonstrate to someone that you really, really know your stuff by pre-framing the meeting. That is a way, if you're losing out on listings, if you're losing in competitive situations, what I always like to ask the realtor is, okay, so you lost out on that situation. Tell me what you did before the meeting. Did you win before the game was even played, right? Did you pre-frame that meeting in a way where they like had no other choice but to choose you? Did you show up like no one else? And you do that by getting them that packet ahead of time. Okay, number four, this is the last strategy that I'll give you related to this in terms of how to build credibility. When you're with the client and you're with someone who is clearly ready to go, they're ready to list their home, ready to start looking for a home, you want to show steps and you want to speak in steps. And what I mean by that is that you're talking about your process, right? So the whole time you're talking about your process. So you're talking about the steps along the way. So you're saying to them, here's what we're going to do first, then here's what we're going to do next, and then here's what we're going to do after that. Here's what's going to happen at the end. and ensure that we have great things that happen at the end. These are things we're going to do before that. And also you're showing them steps. So to the extent that you can, if you can map out a process for them, if you can show them with your collateral, here are the steps that we implement along the way to ensure that you're going to have a terrific process. See, here's the thing. Anyone who's an expert knows the steps. Anyone who's an expert knows the process. Anyone who's an expert, by definition, will say things like, here's what happens next, right? So think of you, like, just make this up, like you in any unsure situation, any brand new situation. And if you've hired a guide, if you've hired someone to see you through this unsure situation, and if they say to you, okay, guys, so here's what happens next, doesn't that give you a level of comfort? Doesn't that convey that this person does know what they're doing? This person is an expert only because they know what should happen next, right? They know the steps, they know the process. So when you can be the one who's saying that, okay, guys, so here's what happens next. Here's what we're going to do as a next step. Here's what I suggest as a next step. Anytime you say that, by definition, you are establishing yourself as the authority, establishing yourself as the person who knows what's going on, the person who knows what they're doing. Okay, so again, we talked about the fact that it takes both of these things, right? Both of those things, if I can get my finger to point right, there we go. Both those things, relationship plus credibility, to lead to you helping with a lot of transactions, at least you being even more helpful to your people. The relationship part comes naturally to us, right? And that's the one that's most quickly understood by us. We get it. We know we have to have great relationships because we know how important trust is in the real estate transaction because it's so emotional. We get that, but often overlooked is credibility. So we must also have credibility. They have to really like us, really trust us, and believe and really see that we know what the heck we're doing. When you have both those things, you're unstoppable. The way you build credibility, you be world-class at answering how's the market, number one. Number two, you use your collateral, you use your marketing to build up your credibility in print, in email, and also in social media. Number three, you pre-frame the meeting. So get them a really killer, really impressive packet ahead of the meeting that gets them to say, dang, look at this person. They really know their stuff. They really have their act together. I look forward to learning more from this person. That's number three. Number four, be sure that you show steps and speak in steps, because by definition, the person who can show steps and speak in steps, the person who can say things like, here's what happens next, is the person who is credible because they know what the heck they're doing. Guys, I hope so much that this little video was helpful to you. We had a few people on live, but again, I didn't really promote it. Just kind of went for it, went live here. And I know a lot of you will be engaging with the recording. This will be on my Facebook page, on my YouTube channel. I appreciate all of you. Hope to see you in the next video. Feel free to comment, etc. If you got questions about this, if you want to weigh in about certain aspects, if you have examples of how this stuff has worked for you, that's always super helpful when you do that. Have an amazing day. We'll see you all in the next video. Take care.